The Biden administration has long played a game of saying one thing today and then backpedaling on it months after. And it's exemplified by his many different decisions when it comes to aid for the Ukraine, both financially and militarily. Remember when he said that sending tanks there would mean World War III? That was March of 2022. And then, early 2023, he then shifts to saying that tanks are necessary to defend and protect Ukrainian land, and that's why they're sending Abrams tanks. So what's next? F-16 fighter jets? Poland has already signaled this to President Biden, so never say never. I also stumbled upon something very interesting regarding these tanks, and it has a lot to do with the depleted uranium munitions that they're probably going to be using. Munitions that may have been set aside as early as October last year. And with regards to uranium, a uranium processing facility here at home just caught fire. What is it with these accidents and these fires that are happening seemingly every single day now? Are these all supposed to still be received as coincidences? Or are they supposed to divert our attention from what's actually happening before our eyes? Now, before I continue, please take a second and smash the like button for the video. It totally helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And since I've noticed a lot of suppression on my videos lately, I would totally appreciate if you share this video with your friends and your loved ones. And if you're in need of your daily dose of the truth when it comes to global happenings, conflicts, state of our economy, social security, SSI, SSDI, the stock market, and the housing market, and what's really going on in Washington, D.C. that affects our lives, our families, and our bank accounts, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you own a home, make sure your home is protected. Get your free home warranty quote. There's a link in the description down below of this video. Have you ever said to yourself that you would stop eating something for the rest of your life? Or maybe even that you're going to strictly follow a diet? And then after a few days, you're kind of like right back to square one as you're already ordering McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, or whatever other kind of junk food you want in that same day. I see this a lot. They even posted on social media with captions like, "I'm finally getting the body that I want." Although it's tough for some of us to keep our word, and those words that are out there forever will mean absolutely nothing unless we back up our words with action. Now, the same can be said for President Joe Biden when he said that sending tanks over to Ukraine would mean World War III. And then, months after, he then announced that he was sending 31 Abrams tanks anyway.
Today, I'm announcing that the United States will be sending 31 Abrams tanks to Ukraine, the equivalent of 1 Ukrainian battalion. Secretary Austin has recommended this step because it will enhance the Ukraine's capacity to defend its territory and achieve its strategic objectives. The Abrams tanks are the most capable tanks in the world. They're also extremely complex to operate and maintain. So we're also giving Ukraine the parts and equipment necessary to effectively sustain these tanks on the battlefield. And we'll begin to train the Ukrainian troops on these issues of sustainment, logistics, and maintenance as soon as possible. I'm grateful to Chancellor Scholz for providing German Leopard 2 tanks and will lead an effort to organize a European contribution of 2 tank battalions for Ukraine. I want to thank the Chancellor for his leadership and his steadfast commitment to our collective efforts to support Ukraine.
I don't know what happened to World War III. I mean, that's just a little bit confusing to say the least. What else did he say no to? Oh yeah, he had just one word when he was asked for fighter jets: no.
Mr. President, will the United States provide F-16s to Ukraine?
No.
That was it. No reasoning, just no. Now, we've seen this play before. This little game that they play on us. And now that he's gone to Poland, Poland has now said that they're willing to send fighter jets to Ukraine, but only if the United States does it first. You see where this is going, right? Their prime minister talked about it recently, saying this, quote, "Today we talk about transferring our MiG jets as a part of a wider coalition, and we are ready for that. Poland can only be part of a much larger coalition here, a coalition with the United States as a leader," end quote. So yeah, this is one of the classic cases of follow the leader. Do you guys think that President Joe Biden will again go back on his word and then provide jet fighters to the Ukraine? I mean, it is possible with a little bit of pushback. Kind of like how news outlets like the New York Times highlighted that the president was reluctant to send tanks. And since we're already talking about weapons and vehicles, let's talk about the Abrams tanks, shall we? Do you guys know the type of munitions used for these tanks? Well, if we're basing it off of history, one could be linked to depleted uranium, a very controversial weapon used in Iraq during the Gulf War and the invasion back in 2003 that many critics say led to increased rates of birth defects and cancer in the country. Question is, will the United States send these out to the Ukraine as well? We're not sure, but here's something very interesting. Back in October, late last year, there were already munitions procurement contracts for these weapons. Look at this. But wait, I thought that the president was reluctant to send tanks. Why are there contracts that are already prepared months ahead? This is a huge risk if these weapons will be used once again, and it gives me goosebumps just to think of the possibilities that some of these weapons may eventually hit civilian targets. Here's another interesting fact about the sending of these tanks. A senior Biden administration official was actually asked about this in the White House, and the exchange could be seen on their website. Look at this here. Quote, "And then on the issue of depleted uranium, will you also be providing depleted uranium ammo for the Bradleys? Thank you." End quote. To which the official answered, quote, "Thanks. I'm not going to get into the technical specifications of this specific platform." End quote. If someone saw these contracts back in December, they would be called conspiracy theorists, just for even entertaining the idea that depleted uranium would again be used with these Abrams tanks. But you know what they say about conspiracy theories and the truth, right? The only thing that sets them apart is 6 months. Now you have to wonder, why aren't weapons like these being banned? Well, we can't ban uranium as it's essential for one of the most powerful weapons in the world, weapons of mass destruction, aka atomic bombs. Although we can try and burn them. Since you're probably not going to hear about this on mainstream media, let me get you guys up to speed. So a fire broke out recently in a uranium processing facility in Tennessee. The Y12 complex has confirmed compounds of uranium that can come in metallic or solution forms. The problem is that uranium fires can't be put out with water. You would either have to use soda ash, powdered sodium chloride, graphite, or just dry powder. Now, I understand accidents can happen, although we're not being told what started this particular fire. Have you noticed though that we've been seeing more and more of these fires across the country, and most times these fires or explosions usually have hazardous materials laying around, kind of like what we saw recently in Ohio. Just in February, we've had multiple fires that have caused outages, canceled flights, and even killed at least one person while injuring more than a dozen others. We're not even halfway into 2023 and we're already seeing way too many of these accidents. Now, what do you think could be the reason? Coincidence? Bad luck? Or are these to distract us from something else that's happening behind the scenes? Now, I'm glad to say that no contaminations were found with the recent fire in Tennessee, and you would be happy to know that they said the same thing with the water and the air in Ohio. And well, I'm not really looking forward to seeing what else can happen over there. But let me know what you guys think about all of this by sharing your thoughts in the comment section down below. There is one thing that's hard to forget these days. Well, not just one particular thing, but they're kind of all connected in some way. Do you agree that the cost of living and expenses that are tied to it will almost always be top priority for us? I don't think any accident can distract me enough to see that the price of food continues to spike upward. More Americans are relying on credit cards, and we are now a country that's building debt instead of goods. This is why a lot of us continue to struggle, but that shouldn't be the case for everyone, especially for you guys in our community. Now, if you want to learn more about budgeting, or maybe you're a budding investor who wants to get into real estate, maybe the stock market, who knows? Maybe you're an aspiring entrepreneur who wants to create and generate multiple streams of income, an attainable feat if we talked about side hustles or small businesses. Well, guys, the path to financial freedom is not easy, but it's also not impossible. Especially if you're a part of our Patreon community, there is a link in the description down below this video. I'm always looking forward to see more of you guys join. Now, before I go, please don't forget to drop a thumbs up for the video. Also subscribe for your daily dose of the truth. Appreciate you guys watching. Please be kind to one another. I'll see you in the next video.